So I think we'll start. Here we are, pretty much on time. So thank you all for coming tonight and being here. I'm looking forward to our session number 2. You know, this is all about the Qigong response to the COVID challenge. That's what we're doing here. So I'm Larry again, and Jenny is helping with the tech stuff in the sort of back of the room again. So the two of us are here to help guide the class. So tonight, we're going to spend a fair amount of time practicing together. But I also want to take a moment and see if anybody had any questions or observations about their experience this week. And then we'll practice a little bit. And then I want to pick up on some things I said last time and hopefully, take them a little bit further and maybe give you a little bit more appreciation for the framework that we're using here. A little bit deeper understanding about what Qi and Qigong can offer us. And then we'll practice again. Then we'll have time for some questions and thoughts at the end, like usual. And I think Jenny and I have a couple of announcements, if I remember, maybe at the end, about upcoming programs and so forth. But that's the basic outline of what we're doing. So I am curious to know if anybody had any experiences or questions that they're, burning to ask right at the beginning. I am going to go over the practices. So if it's about like how to do the practice, we will be going over them again. But I am curious if you've tried these things and if you had any experiences that you want to share.
Well, I tried them and I experienced a wonderful sense of peace.
Nice.
I don't know if it was because of the series, but doing this is just incredible. How that feels.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Wow. I think you could have an incredible sense of peace if you just turned around and look at those beautiful photos or paintings that are behind you. And do this.
Well, they are Chinese, Larry.
Okay, that's it then.
Mm-hmm.
And now we know you have the secret sauce. That's great. So that's great. So that was, kind of, like promised, like when you do these things, something happens and you can have the chance to experience, this kind of shift. It's pretty remarkable, really. Great. I'm glad you had a chance to experience that and did some on your own.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Anybody else have anything they want to share?
I had the most success, I think, at making ginger tea.
Oh, there you go.
I probably haven't done that for decades. And it is very seasonally appropriate.
Yeah.
It just feels right to have that hot tea.
Yeah. Good. What was the missing ingredient that allowed you to have so much success? What's the difference?
Oh, just using the fresh ginger is.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
That ages.
Good. Glad you did that. Yeah, ginger tea is really has an important. In our world, it has a very important place. Definitely helps you stay warm inside and support your digestion. Gives your body a lot of internal support. That's great. Thanks for sharing that. Anyone else have anything they want to add?
I had a friend who was having heartburn and I was able to recommend ginger tea to her.
And?
So I have not heard back whether it made a difference, but I felt good that I knew of something to tell her.
That's true. That's right. Good. Yeah. We're going to assume it made a big difference.
We're going to assume that because she hasn't written back to me. So
yeah, good. Well, that's great. You had you had something you knew you could offer and you can do it with some confidence that can help.
Yeah.
The Chinese medicine view of like reflux and heartburn is that it's really a lot about your liver, not as much about your stomach and your esophagus. Like it's, heat rising. So the heat, is sitting in your stomach and things should move along. So the liver wants things to move along. So anything that we can do to support the liver helps things move. And so that's the idea behind this that can be helpful, and other remedies too that have to do with keeping things moving, which is, so very deep part of the, Chinese medicine framework. Qi is moving, so we want everything to just keep moving. So good for you. You had something you could definitely feel some confidence about offering.
Yeah.
That's nice. Anyone else have anything? So good. Thank you for sharing so far. I want to start with spirit gate breathing. And so I'll go over the practice. Hey, Jenny, I don't know. I don't see myself spotlighted right now. I don't know if I am or not.
No, you're not, but you're about to be.
There we go. That's it. Thank you.
Yes.
So remember when we're doing the spirit gate breathing that we're connecting to our navel, connecting to your navel. Put your hands on your navel as a way to remind yourself that you're connecting to your navel. And, navel is our spirit gate. It's that place where when we were.
Theo, Coach Mike is calling.
Go ahead. I'm muting people now, Larry. Continue on. Oh no, Larry, shoot. Larry, can you unmute yourself, please? Somehow you got accidentally muted. Sorry, guys.
Okay, hi, I'm Larry. Let's start the whole class over. So I heard some great comments earlier. Yeah, anyway, so the idea, the navel, we're going to do spirit gate breathing. The navel is your spirit gate. And we're focusing on the navel because it's one of the remarkable points in your body that has acupuncture properties, since it's an energy gate. And the energy here that the navel helps us connect to is one part physical, which is, our life. We know that life came to us through the navel, and also our spiritual energies came at the same time into our life when we were conceived and as we were developing in the womb. So we want to connect to both our ancestral biological heritage through our genetic heritage, all the ancestors, and we also want to connect to the our gift from the universe, universal life. We can think of it as love and compassion and the life force itself that makes it possible for us to be alive. All of that was given to us when we were in the womb without our having to ask, or it was unconditional, right? We didn't have to be good or anything. It just, it was a part of our deal as we came into the world. And that energy and those both channels are still available to us. So when we do spirit gate breathing, we can think about connecting into the navel when we breathe and opening ourselves to this really bountiful source of love and support. And that's the idea. So we use it as one of the main avenues to create the conditions for a peaceful heart. This kind of deep sense of inner support and inner nurturance that we can get through this practice. So the breathing part of it, remember, with your hands on your navel, when you breathe in, you're going to draw your navel inward. Draw your navel inward, and then you hold, and then you push your navel out. When you exhale, you draw in when you inhale, holding, and then push out with the navel when you exhale. So as I said last time, sometimes this movement of pulling in the navel can be challenging. Some part of it's challenging because it's not the way we're accustomed to breathing, first of all, but also, just each of us has our own body, structure. So it can be difficult to feel like you're pulling your navel in much at all. But even if you do just a little bit, it's okay. That's the idea. And over time, as you practice, you might find that you can draw your navel in further and then hold. And as you release, breathe out. So let's go ahead and do that. Remember, I'm not pushing in with my hands. I'm not using my hands to actually push in on my navel. I'm just resting my hands on my navel as a way to remind myself to draw my attention to my navel. Now, you can do this practice without putting your hands on the navel. You know, you're just still going to draw in the navel and hold and then breathe out. But I think it's helpful to have your hands on your navel to help you focus on this really, really important opening, energetic opening in your body that is referred to as spirit gate. So let's do a few of these together. So here we go. Ready, and breathe in. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. And breathe out. Breathe in. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. Okay, stop for now and just go ahead and breathe like you normally would. So I want you to pay attention. We're going to do it again in a moment. I want you to pay attention that when you're in this position, that your shoulders are relaxed, your elbows are relaxed, your wrists are relaxed. See how relaxed you can let your body be while you're doing this movement, this breathing, so that you don't have any extra expense, no extra energy expense. Just focus on the practice and the breathing and let the rest of your body relax. Also, remember, you can do this movement, maybe not right now, but other times you can do this breathing when you're in bed. You can do it standing up. You can do it anywhere. And as you get more comfortable with breathing this way, it becomes something that's you can start to say feels natural. Whereas I know at the beginning, it's awkward because we don't actually breathe this way unless we've been trained to, or unless something happens and your body remembers how to do it. But generally speaking, this is not the way any of us are breathing. So it's a learned practice. But as we get more comfortable with it, it can become as easy to do as any other kind of breathing. And you won't, for example, feel dizzy or out of breath. Sometimes when I was learning, I would sometimes feel out of breath. Like the cycle of the breath wasn't somehow not complete. I'd have extra air I was holding on to, or a shorter breath when I was breathing in, didn't have a full breath. Over time, that stabilizes and normalizes, and then you can breathe just like you feels like normal. So let's do them again. And so we're going to start with our hands on our navel. And here we go. Ready? Breathe in. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. Relax. Breathe in. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. Count to yourself. And breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. And breathe out. Okay, good. Anyone have any questions about the practice that we're doing right now about spirit gate breathing?
Yes. Should we be counting to 5 while we're breathing in and then stop and then count to 5 again while we're holding the breath in?
5 count breathing in, yes. And then you're holding it also for 5, right? So that's why I'm doing hold 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So from the time we start to breathe in, it's actually 10.
It's actually 10. Yes.
Okay.
And then it's 5 when you breathe out.
Right.
So everything's 5. Yeah. Yeah. Or 6 or 10. The point, we do 5 because it's easy. It's enough spacing. You know what I mean? We want it to be the same. So it's a steady in breath, steady holding, same. Out breath is the same. All the same. Right?
Right.
5 is
That was
5
going
is
to be
good.
my question, Larry, is whether or
Okay.
not, I mean, I tend to do breathing exercises anyway, so it's fine to do, count a 10 or, whatever. Just I try to slow my breathing down, but keep the ratio the same, whatever it
That's
is,
right. Yeah.
So
I
it's like
mean,
a
10,
3 count.
frankly, 10 is pretty challenging to have a slow 10 in breath, 10 out. That's why Master Lu always teaches 5. I think 5 is enough. You could do 4, 5. That we just steadily, we teach 5 and, adjust your counting to make it slower if you want to go slower. Yeah, good. Any other questions or comments, or we okay? All right, so good. I'm glad we did this. Jenny, I don't see myself spotlighted again. I don't know if I
It's
am.
true, Larry. Actually, Elizabeth was going to ask a question. Do you mind if we take Elizabeth's question?
Oh, we should, absolutely. I want to hear it.
Okay.
Thank you.
What is the purpose of holding the breath?
So you want to, it has to do with the movement you're doing on the in breath, because there's stimulation going on inside your body when you're in this in breath. When you draw your navel in, you're compressing all the organs in your lower abdomen. So actually, you give support to your kidneys even in the back. So you want to hold it to make sure that you get the benefit of that. It's like you don't want to just ring a bell lightly. You want to get a nice solid sound because you're connecting, all the way in, and hold it. Okay?
Yep.
Okay, good. Yeah, there's an inside aspect to this practice that happens because we're breathing and pulling in the navel. That's important. Okay, are we okay? Do you see anything else, Jenny? I think we're okay. All right, so I want to take a minute or a few minutes and kind of go back and talk about, what are we doing here? What's the Qigong response to the COVID challenge anyway? So some things that I said last time, I want to emphasize them again. So, the main thing is our orientation is about health. So in Chinese medicine, the focus is on health. And so health, the idea here, health is basically it's emergent. We can create conditions for health, but we can't actually create health. And also because of this aspect of this experience we call health, it has many dimensions and many layers. So we could be healthy in one sense, like I think many people, certainly in the context of how we think about medicine, generally speaking, in our country, people go and let's say they go see the doctor, they have a bunch of tests, the tests all look fine, and the doctor will say, well, you're healthy, because it means they didn't find anything. There's no any obvious illness that they discovered. So in the absence of illness, you're healthy. And that's one way of thinking about health. But that's not the Chinese medicine way of thinking about health. Health emerges when the conditions for it are met internally. And then we have to say, so what are the conditions? So conditions have to do with how your body is functioning, what the level of function is particularly in all your organs. So each organ, particularly, in Chinese medicine, they think of 5 element organs, but, the primary organs like the liver and the heart and the stomach and spleen and the lung and large intestine and the kidney and bladder, these organ systems, they have many capacities. They can do many different things. And like our teacher, Grandmaster Lu, will often tell us, like, when you do your practice, that what you're hoping is you can connect to some of the hidden potential that your body has. Because it's energy, your body's energy. First, we're energy. And then the energy has its qualities that we can link to that can help us expand our capacity to enjoy our life. Those hidden capacities have to do with energy, with qi. So qi and qigong, qi, we all talk about qi, and but qi is a pretty amazing concept in Chinese life. So everything has qi. It means that everything on an invisible level has qi. Qi's invisible. So that means that right now, we don't really have any way to measure qi. Like you can't go to the doctor and do a qi test. There's really no way to measure it on from a Western system. There are people who say they can measure what I would say is the effects of qi, but qi itself, you can't measure with a machine. Although you can learn to sensitize yourself so that you can feel it and notice it, but that takes a lot of internal practice. So this qi that we're talking about itself has a lot of qualities. Generally, we say, well, qi, when we talk about qi, it's energy. So that's, kind of commonly understood. I have a lot of qi, I have a lot of energy, somebody might say. So we think qi can make things happen. It has energy, power to make something happen. So that's maybe the easy part to recognize. Another side of qi that's a little bit more mysterious is to say that qi has consciousness. So consciousness, one way to think about consciousness is to say, well, I'm aware that I'm talking right now. I'm aware that I'm sitting here. I'm aware of something about me. My awareness itself is connected to my consciousness. And that's somehow different from my, let's say, my physical body per se. My own awareness of myself is separate. So there's a consciousness level, and there are layers of consciousness too. So qi has a consciousness. Consciousness is also invisible. Consciousness can link different things on an invisible level. So we have this power and energy, we have this consciousness, and qi also has like a message. I think the way that Master Lu talks about this, that's the most, I think, accessible to us, is to think about qi as like software. It has a message. It gives you information, guidance, internal guidance to tell your body in particular how to do certain things. Like liver has liver qi, means your liver knows how to function as a liver. All the cells in your liver that are liver cells get a message, a qi message about how to function as the cells in a liver and to make the whole organ function together as a coherent organ. That's a qi phenomenon. Then the last one is the life force itself, the animating life force itself. That's inside qi. So this invisible quality that's inside of us, this qi, it's got power and energy. It has like information or message or software, guides the functioning through like an informational message, has consciousness, and it has life-giving energy, the animating life force. Those things are all invisible. When our body is able to use all of those dimensions of the qi, then we have a chance to increase our function. Again, in Western medicine, there's a lot of excitement and a whole lot of work that's being done in areas that are called like functional medicine. And so functional medicine would be like how your body's functioning and what are ways to increase your body function. In the Chinese view, functional medicine is how to increase your body's ability to use the qi so that your internal organs can function at their highest level. So now, if we say that we have this inside qi that we're born with, that's invisible, the qi comes through you and is maintained in your body through meridians, through energy channels that are also invisible. So those energy channels are ways the body has of moving qi, connecting to the qi and moving it through your body, kind of like blood vessels. The blood moves through vessels, your qi moves through channels and reaches everywhere in your body and carries that message, carries the power, carries the information, carries the consciousness, and carries this life-giving energy all throughout your body. When you're born, this is the primary fundamental quality of your life. The foundation of your life is first invisible qi. And then next is the visible structure. Invisible first, then visible. So when we talk about health, we're saying like, how much can we connect to this vast source of infinite information, infinite energy that connects the whole universe. The whole universe has qi. So it's possible for us to make a connection to this vast network of qi, and our bodies resonate with that. In Chinese medicine, all your key organs resonate with things that are outside your body too. So the inside and the outside are connected. Like your liver is connected to the wood, all the trees in the world. It's part of the wood element in 5 elements, wood element. So I'm just saying that the inside and the outside are connected naturally by design. That's how our bodies work. So it's possible for us, for example, when you practice Qigong, to feel a different kind of affinity to trees and plants and flowers. Might just start changing. You just appreciate their beauty, or you start to feel something when you're close to a tree, because you have the frequency of the tree inside of you in your liver. As you open that up further, you might become more sensitive to that and more capable of operating at that level of sensitivity. So that's innate, that's born with you. This chi, this ability to connect to the chi, this energy that guides your development throughout your whole life is always with you. It has also, your body adjusts all through your life to all kinds of challenges. Before the pandemic, we all faced many health challenges. There were different kinds of, whether it was a bacteria or virus or whatever it was, our body dealt with it because internally we can process everything that has energy. Everything has energy. Every virus has energy. So your body can adjust itself to be able to process the energies that were around. So let's look at how we're facing the pandemic right now, and then we can kind of make this picture a little bit more complete. So Western science is able to identify many, many incredibly complex facets of our physical immune system. From that, they can create these amazing vaccines. So the vaccines help. They have benefits. That's not in question. So I'm calling this, Master Lu calls this acquired immunity, because you're doing something from the outside, giving your body instructions from the outside through the vaccine to make adjustments internally so that certain kinds of responses, particularly problematic ones, aren't as likely to happen. And say you won't get as sick and you won't end up in the hospital and you won't die. So vaccines have those benefits. But remember, the virus has an energetic aspect, a frequency. We can think of it as an energetic frequency. Acquired immunity doesn't necessarily stimulate your body on that level, which means that your encounter with the virus, all of our encounter with the virus, is somewhat incomplete in our internal processing if we can't increase our body's function so that our energetic capacity also grows to meet the challenge of COVID. It has a certain kind of frequency that our bodies can handle and more completely process, I would say, that we can do in conjunction, say, with a vaccine. If you have the vaccine and you do these practices I'm talking about, and we're learning, and we do a few other things like, eat the warming foods, have the ginger tea, and so on, we can give our body an internal energetic boost. So then we have both sides of it, the external acquired side and the internal support that our body can create, because we already have an energetic infrastructure to be able to manage something like a virus like COVID. So that's really the reason why having a practice like this can be useful, so useful, because it's really looking at health. Yes, there's definitely a challenge. The COVID is definitely presenting a challenge. All the variants, definitely new challenges, but your body can read energy because you're all about energy. And your organ functions, when they're high enough, can respond to the challenge that COVID presents as an energetic challenge and process it. And here's the best part. When you process it, you can turn it into something you can use for a good purpose. So even though it looks like the virus has so many problematic aspects, it must also have something good and useful for us, that if we can extract it and use it and process it, we'll actually be able to benefit from this and use it for some, to support our health, support our development, support us living our lives even in this challenging time. So this is the whole idea of the premise of, the Qigong response for the COVID challenge, that this is an energetic response that we can have in our body to be able to meet this kind of challenge. So I just want to say one more thing that I think would make sense now to you. So I heard something the other day. I don't think this is new information. I think that the studies are now indicating that one of the complications that is making people's response to COVID more problematic is obesity. So, it turns out, in the United States, we have an obesity epidemic, and compared to other developed countries, levels of obesity in the United States are higher than in many other places. So something like that means for many people, their body's already out of balance. Not just obesity, we could pick other things, diabetes, other conditions. So many people, when they, are in, let's say 40, approaching 40 and older, start to have a number of conditions. Those conditions from a Chinese medicine perspective mean your body's out of balance. So when your body's out of balance, your organs are not functioning at the highest level because they want to communicate with each other. They want to be able to use the qi, the information of the qi, to guide high level function and become a platform for health. But somehow things are out of balance. And so the person's state of health internally, energetically, isn't as high as it might be. So then if you give a person the vaccines can still help, but the person, number one, can't process the vaccine as well as they would like to, and they're not able to manage the energy as well as they like, just the qi as well as they might like. So they're already like in a little bit of a challenge compared to where a person might be if they were healthy. And I'm saying like most of us aren't healthy from a Chinese perspective. Like there's always something going on that we can address to help us build a stronger internal structure, have more balance, and be able to operate energetically better. Again, that's like the reason for Qigong practice, so that we have in our life something that regularly supports this kind of internal balance, this internal energy processing that will little by little help us regain our health. And that's been the ancient reasons for Qigong practice, for Qigong development, and why it's always been part of the Chinese medicine culture, because it's understood that energetically we want to strengthen people and give them opportunity to come into more balance and then allow health to emerge naturally. So in an optimal situation, we're all healthier, more energetically balanced, then we can take vaccines, we can do other things, we can do Qigong, and we can go through the challenge of COVID with less difficulty. That's sort of the really big picture. With more health emerging, we have the capacity, hidden capacities emerge, things like more intuition, more sensitivities, all kinds of sensitivities, sensitivity to color and taste and all your senses, psychic abilities, many things that we can do can emerge with in more focused Qigong practice that help us open up these capacities. All right, so that's really, I just wanted to give you a chance to see, like, there is a reason for why this Qigong response is so useful and helpful in the face of a challenge like we're in the midst of this pandemic, and with a novel challenge like COVID. All right, so I'm going to move on, and we're going to do the other movements right now, and then let's go over those. So these are the three practices where we start in the webbing in between the thumb and first finger on both hands. We're going to go underneath the nose, and then we're going to go over, right, or in the forehead here, and all the way down to the side of the neck. Remember, on this one in the hand, I like to start out resting my left hand in my right. Body's relaxed. Your thumb is coming up from behind. And your thumb is going to go into the webbing between, your right thumb is going into the webbing between your left thumb and left index finger, right in here. So you're going to massage in that area. And the idea is just to really massage the area. You can go in both directions. You know, you can, do one direction, then the other direction. But the main idea is to be massaging that point. So let's do that. So you have your left hand in your right thumb going over the back of your hand into the webbing, and then you can start massaging your left hand. Shoulders are relaxed, elbows are relaxed, wrists are relaxed. Close your eyes if you'd like. Remember, you need a pretty firm contact here so that you can feel yourself pressing. The energy gate that's here is not on the surface, it's inside, underneath. So a little bit of firm pressure can help you connect there. Remember, when you're practicing these at home, you can do 2 or 3 minutes on one side, and that's good. That's perfectly fine. As a foundation, you can do more. You could do 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You can do as much as you want, but 2 or 3 minutes is a good place to start. So, all right, let's switch and do the other hand. Now your left hand is receiving, your right hand is resting on it. And then your left thumb comes over the back of your hand into the webbing between your right thumb and right index finger. And go ahead, relax your shoulders again, elbows, wrists. All the practices that we're doing that have, they're all Qigong energy practices. They can to stimulate, the energy system. So you might have, other sensations and things you're aware of. So when you do these, I think it's nice, not really to scan for effects, but just to be aware, just to let yourself be aware. It's kind of a gentle awareness. What am I noticing? And, see if you pick something up, like, the examples we heard earlier. So you might just notice something, and when it happens, don't question it. Don't get too analytic about it. Just notice it and allow it to be, and continue to pay attention. Okay, good. So now we're going to move to the next one underneath the lip in the center. Remember, we're using the edge of the thumb, and we want to put that right here in the center. And we're going to do, this time we're deliberately going to do both clockwise. For me, clockwise is this way. And after that, we'll go the other way, counterclockwise. So right in this spot, right underneath where the nose and the lip meet, we're right in that spot. Okay, and then go the other direction. Okay, good. So now we'll do the massage on the side of the head, just over the ears. Remember, you're using this part of the fleshy part of your thumb on both sides. So we want to be touching the side of our forehead here with this side of your thumb, the fleshy part of your thumb. And you're just going to go over and then down and again. Okay, great. So, one thing I want to mention again is this point in particular is a really powerful point. Like, if you happen to be around somebody and they were in some kind of emergency, looked like something really serious was going on, and they really needed emergency support. Like, this is a really useful point to know about. It can really help somebody mobilize their energy in the face of a health crisis. So it's really, really potent point. So here we have the spirit gate breathing. These three particular movements, ways stimulate the energy system that internally gives your body a lot of energetic support. And that connects us to this inborn, innate capacity we have to use our energy and to build a foundation for more health. That's really the whole premise of this class that we've been going over. So, all right, I'm going to stop here and see what comments and questions you have, and we can talk together a little bit. And I know we have a couple of announcements we'll make at the very end. So let's see what you're thinking about.
So Larry,
Yes.
do auras have anything to do with the level of your chi? Like how strong your aura is?
Not necessarily. I mean, the aura is, Master Lu says your aura is, mostly external. It's like the chi on the outside of your body that people can see. Some people can see, right?
Right.
But your chi inside is much more difficult to pick up. I don't know that I've ever heard Master Lu say specifically, like, what's the relationship between how strong somebody's chi is and what their aura is like. But my guess would be that it wouldn't necessarily be as closely related as we might think. Like your chi inside is so many different layers and levels that the outside chi, everybody has chi outside. Some people can see it, some people can't. We all have chi. The skin has chi, so that's just, everybody has that. So it's really, I think the internal chi is a different level.
Thanks.
I think it's mystifying and a little hard to wrap my brain around the thinking about the Qigong response to COVID, when my sense of COVID is like this enormous, complex, devastating, virus that's just, it's global, it's everybody's been touched by it. And here are these very, very simple, powerful Qigong movements that are going to help me create the conditions for health in my body, if I'm hearing you correctly. And it's just a little, can you help me wrap my brain around that a little bit, Larry? Because I had COVID twice. So I really have been using these movements a lot and experienced for myself the real power of these movements. But it was with a kind of reluctance, because they seem, to my thinking mind, just, this is weird. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
how would you help me and maybe other people with that?
Well, I mean, one thing you're saying is the scale of the pandemic is so vast and the impact is so profound. And these, practices look, sort of startlingly simple, and so I think that the first challenge still has to do with, how much we're willing to say that the main thing going on is energy. I think that's the harder problem,
Yeah.
to say, like, no matter what we see, as turbulent and problematic as the scene we see is, and certainly it is, behind it is something entirely different. Its nature is completely different, the energy nature, right? And that there's like, it's a whole parallel experience that most of us don't know anything about, and that our bodies actually are well tuned into.
Mhm.
So, I think because, as energy wise, I think that since things happen energy wise first and then manifest second, that's another thing that's like, we have to shift our thinking if we really buy into the invisible visible relationship. Invisible moves first and then the visible shows up. That means that the invisible field of the virus we had an invisible pandemic before we had a visible pandemic. That's how I would put it. So if we could keep ourselves tuned, energetically tuned, our bodies would already have picked up as, something going on, and making adjustments.
Right.
But it's not part of how it's not the way we operate. We don't think this way. And I think I said last week, when we were all at the Grand Canyon and Master Lou started talking about the pandemic, he already knew. And I don't think he knew because of his contacts in China. I don't think that was the main reason he knew. I think he knew because he's tuned into that. It's something, I feel something in the force, and, there's something going on that was going to have a big impact. And the consciousness of the virus of COVID has this universal effect. So it's automatically connecting everybody. But all energy connects everybody. So that's a benefit, actually. We could tune into that and really discover how we can use this ability to connect to everything and everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know, does that help?
Yeah, that does. I don't know how anybody else heard that, but that is very helpful.
I mean, as we've, you and I have been studying with Master Lou for a long time, and, I still think fundamentals are really difficult. And that's why he keeps going over them. Fundamentals is invisible and visible. That the nature of the way things are is the invisible is way more powerful than the visible. As dramatic and amazing as our visible world is, the invisible world, because it's connected to everything,
Right.
is so much more amazing, impenetrable, unknowable. It's actually mental level unknowable to us.
Right. You're actually reminding me that if the invisible world, what we see is something like just a small percentage, say 4% of the whole everything, right? And 96%. So if I can do this to access, 5% of the invisible world,
Right.
I'm tapping into something that's really, really huge compared to, say, tapping into 5% of the 4% of what I see in the world.
Right.
So that also helps me to understand why something so simple and something I can do in 10 minutes can really have that kind of a profound impact on my physical and energetic state.
Yeah. Or another way that Master Lou speaks about it, he's talked to us so much about this, is, the visible is always limited. The invisible is unlimited. Illness is limited. If we use that framework, illness is limited, health is unlimited. So we're constantly in this challenge to shift our mind into connecting to what's unlimited potential, not limited because we are too attached to the physical manifestation. But for sure, this is not something that's easy to digest and understand in, a couple of weeks. Everybody here if you find this interesting, you have to start living this, looking at things differently. When you look at a flower, you see a flower and then just say, well, inside that flower is something invisible. The essence of the flower is invisible. It connects to every flower. So yes, that one flower is amazing and beautiful, yet it's connected to a lot of things that you don't see that don't apparently seem like they're part of that flower. And it's all there. that we can start to appreciate it, because it's what makes the flower a flower. Any other thoughts or comments?
Have you ever read The Overstory?
Yes.
So
What are you
when
thinking about?
Well, when you were talking about how when we do this, we get our intuition can access further, and how I was just thinking how trees can talk to each other, and when one is threatened or in danger, they can send that message through their network to other trees to sort of warn them and help them prepare to
Right.
not get sick. So it was reminding me of that when you were describing that Master Lu had a sense of the pandemic before it was actually coming, and his body could already start preparing and adjusting for that.
Yeah, the book you're mentioning is The Overstory, and it's a long book, but it has many. It resonates with a lot of these ideas that we're talking about, and it's intense, but it's a really amazing book, I think. So thanks for bringing that up, and that observation is right. Yeah.
I kind of want to read it again now that I've been
Yeah, you
doing
see what you
Qigong.
discover.
Yeah. But it is long.
Well, I think we're gonna wrap up. Jenny, what are our announcements? Maybe you'll share them.
Yes, sure, I'd be glad to. Let's see, you all received an email today saying that, am I off mute? Yeah. Just reminding you that we have some classes coming up. We're starting on Monday of this week. Larry's going to be teaching the Dragon's Way at 7 o'clock CST. And I teach on Fridays at 8 a.m. and noon. Also going to be offering a new Qigong program from Master Lu called Energy Everybody Every Day, which is another series of movements for your energy, your posture, balance, and the basics, getting your energetic foundation set and strengthened. We are also going to be offering the recording of this 2-session program. So if you have other people that you think might be interested in accessing it, drop us a note and we will make sure to get them the link for that. And just stay in touch, because we've got a lot of good things coming up this spring and summer. And yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Jenny. That's right.
Oh, and tons of programs going on at TCM World as well. And with Grandmaster Lu, if you're hearing something about Master Lu that's kind of interesting you or intriguing you, you have the opportunity to study directly with him in a program called Morning Qigong. It's on Tuesdays and Saturday mornings at 7 a.m. Central Time. He's also offering a free ongoing evening program on Sundays, the first and third Sundays of every month. And you can sign up for that at his website at grandmasternanlu.com. And I'm very happy to, if you have any questions or this went by too quickly and you want more information, just respond to the email that I sent out today and I'll get that to you.
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody. Feel free to let us know if you have any experiences or questions or how you're applying this. We'd love to hear about it. So thank you so much for joining the class, and we'll see you somewhere in the energy field.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.